What up, everybody? I've joked on other videos talking about the next Power spinoff should be the story of Kate Egan called Raising Kate. This way we can get a look into her past and find out why she kept so many secrets from Tommy. Like telling him his father, Tony Teresi, was dead, who Tommy later found out was alive when Ghost bumped into him in jail. She also told him that his grandmother Miriam Egan was dead, and the main thing, why she abandoned her oldest son and never even mentioned to Tommy once that he had a brother out there somewhere. You would have thought that she would have eventually just told Tommy about JP, even let him know that she was very young and made a mistake or whatever her excuse was. Then Miriam died, and Kate was at her house busting down the walls looking for money. It makes me ask the question, what is Kate Egan's ties to Chicago? Was she involved in some kind of criminal activity in Chicago, and that's why she had to relocate to New York? Possibly Kate Egan was involved in the drug game before Tommy was born. Or maybe she even snitched on someone in Chicago, so she relocated to New York. But we already know that she was dancing in Atlantic City before Tommy was born, because that is where she met Tony Teresi. Tommy continued visiting Chicago a few times because there was a picture of him and the measurements on Miriam's wall. But something happened when Tommy was around 4 years old, and that's why Kate told Tommy that Miriam was dead, and they never returned to Chicago again. One more thing to keep in mind is who was paying for Miriam's nursing home. Tommy asked JP if he was paying for her nursing home, and JP said when him and his father Herman came back into the picture, she was already at the nursing home, that he assumed she had some kind of trust. So that leaves the question, where had JP and Herman been the whole time, and how long has Miriam been at the nursing home? There is still so many underlying questions and mysteries that are still to be answered in both Book 3, Raising Kanan, and Book 4, Force. And one of the most popular fan theories out there is that Tommy Egan is somehow related to Walter Flynn. So I'm going to try my best to put the pieces together and try to make this work. The first theory is that Walter Flynn is Kate Egan's brother and Tommy Egan's uncle. We have briefly heard Walter speak about his childhood on Force. When he was young, his family moved from Ireland to Scotland. His father drank himself to death and left him and his brother on the streets of Glasgow, where they had to fight every day, similar to Tommy in Queens. Keep in mind that he never mentioned his mother or having a sister. Is it possible that Miriam did something similar to Kate, and because her husband was an alcoholic, she took her daughter and moved to New York, leaving her husband and her 2 sons behind, then changing her name from Flynn to Egan? One thing to keep in mind is, would Walter know the last name Egan? I know that he says Tommy's last name in the Season 2 teaser, but I'm currently in the middle of watching Force for the 3rd time. One of the specific reasons is to find out who knows Tommy Egan's full name. There's a small chance that Walter doesn't even find out Tommy's last name until Season 2 to put the pieces together that they are related. If you know for sure if Walter finds out Tommy's last name in Season 1, drop it in the comments. But if Walter is Miriam's son, this would explain how her hospital bills are paid. This might be something we find out in Force Season 2, Episode 1, and not have to wait that long to get the answer. There's a good chance, if this theory is true, that there will be one big family reunion at Miriam's funeral. This could also explain why Kate never returned to Chicago at one point, and why she abandoned JP at the hospital. Because we already know how Walter felt about his son and Gloria being together. And as far as never returning to Chicago after Tommy turned 4 years old, could be when her brother Walter came from Scotland to the US, and she probably didn't want her son anywhere near Walter, knowing that he is a monster. Getting me to the second theory. and that is Miriam is actually Walter's sister. This would make Walter Kate's uncle. This could explain why Kate was at Miriam's house busting down her walls looking for money. Keep in mind Walter Flynn's mansion. I'm sure if Miriam is his sister, he was supporting her and keeping her bankrolled also. Same way that Tommy did for Kate. This could be if Miriam is either Walter's sister or mother. My next theory is that Kate is not related to Walter at all, but she is related to Walter's wife, who is no longer living, possibly her sister. Because to my knowledge, it has never been mentioned on the show if Kate has either a brother or a sister. But to me, this would make more sense than Walter being related to Kate, because we've known Tommy Egan for a while now, and we've never heard him talk about his mother growing up in another country. Since Walter didn't meet his wife until he moved to the States, and that she was an Irish-American woman like Kate, this makes more sense than Walter himself being related to Tommy. This would make Claudia and Vic Tommy's cousins. Getting me to the next theory, and I think it's my last for this video, and that is Walter and Kate Egan were former lovers. We've already seen this story play out with Ghost and Angela, and Monet and Mecca, old lovers reconnecting. Could Kate Egan actually been Walter's first love interest when he moved to the States? Obviously, she would be his type, and from what we know about Kate, Walter would also be her type because she likes the bad boy. I've even heard the theory out there that Walter is Tommy's dad. This would mean that Tony Teresi wasn't actually Tommy's real dad, and that Kate was sleeping with more than one man. This one I do have a hard time believing. Not that I put being in a relationship with two different men past Kate. Plus Tony already had a wife anyway. So since it was never proven Teresi was Tommy's dad through DNA like Ghost and Tariq, I guess they could make this a plot twist if they wanted to. Nobody would see that one coming. And before I go, I got to ask the question, will Kate Egan be moving to Chicago in for Season 2? When Tariq showed up at her house in the Ghost Season 3 finale, she had boxes packed everywhere like she was ready to move. So we could see Kate move to Chicago to be with her grandson D-Mac and meet Walter, having no prior relationship with him, and Kate could actually become Walter's new love interest. I'm sure Kate would enjoy herself real good in Walter's mansion. And there you have it. Do you think that Tommy Egan and Walter Flynn are related? Leave your thoughts, theories, and predictions in the comments.